Thank you all for joining us for Children Light Bible Study. We will go ahead and begin with prayer. Lord Yeshua, we thank you for the work that you're doing in every last one of us here, and that we continue to work towards being pleasing in your sight, and that we make it to the New Jerusalem, and we take as many people as we can with us. Amen.
Amen.
All right, we're going to go ahead and sing the Lord's Prayer in ancient Hebrew. We're going to sing it together, not yelling. We're off key. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Adonai Shabbat Shemayim Kodash Hayashimka Ahaya Malak Watka Abba Ratazawaka Haya Asha
Louder.
Ratazah Koa Haya Bashamayim Lakanawa Baham Kayalawam
Parents too.
Wasalak Nawa Kawawat Nawa Kasalak Nawa Kawawakin Nawa Wada Tabayin Nawa
Now we do the Lord's Prayer in English. All right, on the count of 3, we'll say it together. 1, 2, 3. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. All right. All right. Next we have the Credo. But now, would you like to go ahead and lead us? All right. And where can we find the Credo?
Chapter 6, verse 4.
All right. On the count of 3, go ahead and lead us. 1, 2, 3. Hero Israel. The Lord our God is one. Shemaya now we have the 10 Commandments. And where can we find the 10 Commandments? High five.
Chapter
20.
20.
All right. What's the first commandment? And what's the second commandment? The third commandment? Let's try that one again. The third commandment?
Take the name of the Lord thy faith.
All right, but you hear everyone. What's the fourth commandment? All right. What's the fifth commandment?
Your father and mother, that they shall love upon the land.
All right. What's the sixth commandment?
That's the name.
I should hear everyone.
That's
All right. What's the seventh commandment?
no, that's
The seventh commandment?
that's not the day. That's today.
Eighth commandment?
That's not still.
The ninth commandment?
That's not
And the 10th commandment?
That's not covenant.
All right. Next we have the fruit of the Spirit. And where can we find that? Zion, go ahead and lead us in the fruit of the Spirit. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. But the fruit of the Spirit is
love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness,
faith, meekness, and temperance. Against such there is no
no
law.
law.
All right.
The color.
Nope.
Hebrew alphabet.
The Hebrew alphabet. All right. Amaris, go ahead and lead us in the Hebrew alphabet on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. All righty. Stop. What do we have next? It's not the color. The numbers. Araya, you're going to lead us in our numbers 1 through 30. Do you accept the challenge? All right. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. 2. Shania. 3. Shalasha. 4. Arabaiha. 5. Kamasha. 6. Shasha. 7. Kabaiha. 8. Shemawana. 9. Deshaiha. 10. Ishar. 11. Achai Ishar. 12.
Shania by Shar.
13. Shalasha Ishar. 14. Arabaiha Ishar. Everyone.
16.
17. 18. 19. 20. 21. 22.
23.
Shalasha.
24.
Asharayam Ara.
Where you at? I don't hear you. 25.
27.
26. 28.
Shemawana.
29.
Asharayam Deshaiha.
30.
have colors? All right.
The color.
All right. Name a color. Blue. Micah. Oh wait, blue. My bad. What? All right, Micah. Thank you. Mariah.
Color.
Miss. Purple.
Miss.
Miss. I said,
Hebrew. Say Hebrew.
some color.
Amaris. All right. My Zion. Goodness. Thank you. Banab. So many colors. Your brother gave you a color. Okay. Try it. Close. There we go. Anybody back there? Is not sleeping?
He right here.
Oh, something about that one.
Oh.
The one messing with me earlier.
Beige.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody say beige?
Yeah.
They say beige, right?
You said light.
No, black.
Here we use apocrypha right now.
Chicago.
Two said black.
Okay. All right. Micah. Neve. I think this is my favorite black.
You didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. All right. Araya. Someone said that, but thank you. Amaris.
What colors are we missing?
Gray. We forgot.
Yellow.
Gray.
What color?
Wait, she's speaking. Wait,
You guys, quiet.
What you said, Amaris? Which is gray. Zion.
What is it? Oh, you want yellow? What's yellow? I mean, no.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So now, got a few more.
What's that?
That's the name to choose from.
Red. We gonna move on.
Mm-hmm.
Two.
Micah, can you give us a color?
Red.
Mm-hmm. All right. Neve, do you know a color? Mm-hmm. Thank you. Is that all the colors?
Yes.
All right. Good job, everyone. What do we have next? The books of the Bible.
Yep.
All right. Micah, you're going to go ahead and lead us in the books of the Bible. Do you accept the challenge? All right. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Job, Exodus,
Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua,
louder.
First Samuel, Second Samuel, First Chronicles, Second Chronicles, Psalms,
Proverbs, Song of Solomon, Ecclesiastes, 1 Kings, 2 Kings, Ruth,
Joel, Amos, Hosea, Isaiah,
louder. Micah, Nahum,
Zephaniah,
Habakkuk, Jeremiah,
Revelation,
Daniel,
Ezekiel, Ezra, Obadiah, Haggai, Zechariah,
Ezra,
chapter 7 through 10, Esther, Nehemiah, Malachi.
how many do you know? You know many?
Oh.
Alright. Now we have the what? The 12 tribes of Israel. Is everyone ready?
Yes!
All right. Who's the first one?
Reuben.
No. Reuben.
Seven.
Where everybody at?
Reuben.
Mm-hmm.
The way.
Lawai.
Judah. Yehoiada.
Zebulon.
Babylon. Ephraim. Yeshua. Yeah. Asher.
Yes.
Asher.
Naphtali.
Naphtali.
What else?
Yeah.
No,
Manasseh.
that's it.
Manasseh.
Let's pay attention.
Ephraim.
Benjamin.
And the youngest.
Benjamin.
Let's get together next time.
Yeah, we have to work on that.
You're like 10 seconds too late. Don't touch it.
Colors.
Who can tell us a shape?
Colors.
No, a shape. Who can tell us a shape? Yes.
Circle.
Circle. All right.
Square.
Okay.
Heart.
Mhm. That one is a different one. He said it. He said it. Though. Lob. Mm-hmm. Who else can name a shape? All right, star. Can you say it in ancient Hebrew?
Yeah.
Cool. Skakawa. Anyone else want to name a shape? Heart. You said her. Heart. Okay. Oh, what's over? What's over? Sagalagal.
She said?
Oh, Sagalagal.
Yeah, Sagalagal. Yeah. That's Sagalagal. You guys. All right, pay attention. You're gonna repeat after you the Wada Mana for how she's going to do.
All right. Star. Kakawa. Heart. Lob. Oval. Sagalagal. Circle. Cog. Rectangle. Malaban. Square. Rabah. Triangle. Mashalash. Star. Kakawa. Heart. Lob. Oval. Sagalagal. Circle. Cog. Rectangle. Malaban. Square. Rabah. Triangle. Mashalash. How do you say square? No, how do you say square? Rabah. How do you say circle? Triangle. Rectangle. Star. Who? Kawa. Heart. Oval.
Good job, everyone. So, what's next? Ezra. All right, we're in the book of Ezra where? Yes? Oh, you found it? Okay. Ezra what?
Chapter 1.
Chapter 1, chapter 6.
Oh.
Put a dash in between?
That's right.
1 through 6. So, we are in the book of Ezra, and we're going to be going over the first half of Ezra today. Chapters 1 through 6. Everyone go ahead and turn there, and then we will get started. Thank you.
I smacked
You smacked yourself. Well, I hope you're okay.
I didn't say I smacked myself.
I don't know what you said.
I said I smacked.
Oh, you snapped. You saw you got in the sauce? I got part of that. Like, what page that is?
All right, let me hear the con if we're all in Ezra. What?
Ezra.
Don't trip it.
She said it.
Let me hear a con if you are in Ezra. Okay.
That's my good.
So we are in the book of Ezra. This book takes place during the return from Babylon to Jerusalem. From where to where?
Jerusalem.
From
Babylon.
to.
Jerusalem.
Okay. So remember how we talked that there was 3 trips taken. There was 3. There was 3 times that the king came to take our people into Babylon. Do we remember that?
Yes.
And then, if there was 3 trips going there, what about coming back? How many trips were there? Say it louder. 3. So there was 3 returns from Babylon to Jerusalem, just like there was 3 captivities from Jerusalem to Babylon. The first group was led by Zerubbabel. Say Zerubbabel. And the second group was returned under Ezra. Say Ezra. And in the future, we're going to learn that the third was returned by Nehemiah.
Where everybody at?
Nehemiah.
So even though they say it's not clear who wrote Ezra, you would think that. They said some of it could have been written by Nehemiah, which we will learn about at a future date. But some of it was also written by Ezra. You want to know how we know?
Yeah.
Because sometimes when we read it, he says I. And who is I?
Him.
Who's him? Ezra. You say Ezra in Hebrew as Azara. Izara. Say it again. Izara. Everyone, Izara.
I saw that. Ezra. All right. So we are going to go ahead and talk about the first half, like I said earlier, about Ezra. All right. So the things we're going to talk about an order that came from a king. Do you guys remember we talked about a couple of weeks ago some kings? Can you guys name one of the kings we talked about? Who?
David?
No.
Oh, okay.
Starts with a C and then a S. Yes. All right. So we talked about King Cyrus, but we didn't go into detail about him at that time. We said that everyone was born for a purpose. Remember that?
Yeah.
When we talked about that?
Yeah.
Well, now 70 years have passed, and guess what? This king, his name is Cyrus, and he gave an order to the people. So we're going to see what that order was. We're going to talk about how they returned back. And who did Deuteronomy tell you guys led the first group back to Jerusalem? What was his name? No. Zerubbabel. All right. And we're going to see what happened with the temple, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and go to Ezra. Slovakia. Ezra chapter Akkad. And we're going to read verses Akkad through Kamasha. And what's Akkad? All right. And what's Kamasha?
5.
Oh, it's okay. Is everyone? Ezra. Is everyone there?
Yes.
All right. So I just told you guys a little bit about King Cyrus, and he gave an order. We're going to see what that order was, and we're going to ask you guys to make sure you have your listening ears on so you guys can know what the order is, okay? You guys ready?
Yes.
Ezra chapter Akkad, verse Akkad. Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia. King of who?
Persia.
That he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, saying, Thus saith Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord God of heaven hath given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he hath charged me to build him an house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Who is there among you of all his people? His God be with him, and let him go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judah, and build the house of the Lord, God of Israel. He is the God which is in Jerusalem. And whosoever remaineth in any place where he sojourneth, let the man of his place help him with silver, and with gold, and with goods, and with beasts, beside the freewill offering for the house of God that is in Jerusalem. Then rose up the chief of the fathers of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests of the Levites, with all them whose spirit God had raised, to go up to build the house of the Lord, which is in Jerusalem.
All right. So what was the order by King Cyrus? Build a house for the Lord. Now we read in verse 1, he said proclamation. So that's the same thing as him giving an order, okay? So everyone, debate, what was his job? What was the order? Huh? Okay, what was the king's order? What did he tell the people to do?
Build the house.
Oh, okay. Everyone turn away. Turn this way a little. All right. And what was his name? Again? What was the king's name?
Cyrus.
Cyrus.
And he was king of?
Judah.
No.
Babylon.
No. King of, starts with a P.
Okay.
Persia.
Persia.
All right. So now he's telling people to go back, right? Do you guys think a lot of people went back?
Yes.
How many do you think went back?
1,000.
Thousands? 1,000 or thousands?
1,000.
1,000. Okay.
1,000.
Anyone else want to take a guess at it?
1.
Remember, it was a lot of Israelites, right? What, about a million? Million or so?
1 billion.
That's higher than a million. So what you said, 1 billion?
2 billion.
You gotta go lower.
Billion.
Aww.
How many? 3?
That's a lot.
You said 3?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else want to give it a try?
3 billion.
Oh, 3 billion. Okay.
That's a lot.
2? Well, we're gonna find out how many people. So we'll put it like this. Raise your hand if you think a lot of people went back. All right, Neve, but not. Anybody else think a lot of people went back? Zion. All right, 3 people. Araya, does a hand up? All right, put your hands down. Raise your hand if you think only a little bit of people went back. Zion again. Okay.
Look at Zion.
Oh my goodness. All right, so we'll find out. All right. So let's go ahead and see what else King Cyrus told them to do. We're going to stay in chapter 1 and we're going to read verse 7. So Ezra, chapter 5, verse Shabbat. Is everyone there? Is everyone there?
Yes.
Verse 7. All right.
Verse Shabbat. Also, Cyrus the king brought forth the vessels of the house of the Lord, which Nebuchadnezzar had brought forth out of Jerusalem, and had put them in the house of his God.
Do you guys remember that when we talked about that some weeks ago?
Yes.
What happened? So he was bringing the vessels out in verse 7, right? From the house of the Lord. What was the house of the Lord? It was the what? The temple, yes. The temple in Jerusalem. And what happened to that temple?
He fall down the house. No.
Who knows? Someone help her out. What happened to that temple? It broke. Okay, it fell down. It broke. We getting there. Come on.
He fall down the house. Broke.
It what?
Glasses.
I can't hear you. Wait, I'm trying to hear her.
My sister said they build it again.
But before they built it again, what happened? Why did they have to build it again? Because it got what?
Destroyed.
Yes, destroyed. And when did it get destroyed? And what captivity? Yes, the Babylon captivity.
Okay, we might be learning something.
And remember, in the second group, when they took away the people, they also took things out of the temple and destroyed it. Remember that?
Yeah.
So now we have King Cyrus giving those things back. To go into the temple. Yes, give it back. It's not broken. Well, just listen, okay? Yes, it was destroyed. So now they're going to take those vessels that they took out of the temple and they're bringing them back to Jerusalem. Isn't that exciting?
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
All right. Are you guys ready to see how many people went back?
Yes.
All right. So we're going to skip over to chapter 2 and we're going to read verse 64. Shishah Shayam. Araba Aha. Right. Yeah, right. Yes. So everyone should be in chapter 2, verse 64. Chapter 2, verse 64. Shishah Shayam. Araba Aha.
Alright. Ezra, chapter Shnayim, verse Shashah Shayam Araba'ah. The whole congregation together was 42,303 score. How much is that?
A billion.
Not a billion.
More than 1 billion.
Hmm?
More than 1
You gotta say it again. I didn't hear you.
billion.
You ain't gotta be shy.
Who's that?
Not you.
Alright.
So 42,000.
Gold.
303 score. So we're not in the millions or billions, we're in the thousands. So that's 42,360 people.
Ooh.
I knew it.
Is that a lot compared to a million Israelites and then only 40,000 compared? It's not that many people, is it?
You had 3 people.
No, it was more than 3 people. It still wasn't that many people though.
1,040. 1,000.
No, stop. Listen. Not that many people went back. All right. The ones that went back they were faithful to Yeshua? 42,360. All right. So they were the only ones that decided to travel back to Jerusalem. And remember, it was a lot of Israelites. So only 42,000 is not a lot. I know it seems like a big number, but think of that number next to 1,000,000. Not that many, right? All right. Okay. So now we're going to see. So now we know they're going to go back and build the house of the Lord. So let's go ahead and see what happened in this time. Okay. So we're going to go over to chapter 3 and we're going to read verse 2 through 3. So that's Ezra, chapter Shalashim, verse Shanayim through Shalashim. Everyone should be in chapter 3.
Ezra chapter 2. Ezra chapter Shalasha, verse Shanayim. Then stood up Joshua, the son of Josadak, and his brethren, the priests, and Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, and his brethren, and builded the altar of the God of Israel, to offer burnt offerings thereon, as it is written in the law of Moses, the man of God. They set up the altar upon his base, for fear was upon them because of the people of those countries, and they offered burnt offerings thereon unto the Lord, even burnt offerings morning and evening. They kept also the Feast of Tabernacles, and it is as it is written, and offered the daily burnt offerings by number according to the customs as the duty of every day required.
They got what feast? Not dedication. Tabernacle. Yes. Raise your hand if you keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
I know. Me too.
Do you keep the Feast of All right. So they did the same thing, right? All right. So I just wanted to point that one out. But also, let's go ahead and one moment. So this was the process of them getting ready to start the building of the temple, okay? So they even got the finest things like King Solomon did. King Solomon got his wood from a certain place. So guess what? They did this exact same thing and got their wood from that place also. Anybody know where that place is?
No.
Okay. Let's go ahead and look at verse 7. What verse are we at, everybody?
7.
All right. And then we have a challenge for everyone coming up. So pay attention. You excited about the challenge? I am too.
I am too.
That makes 3 of us. I think Malcolm's excited too.
Verse Shabbat. They gave money also unto the masons and to the carpenters, and meat and drink, and oil unto them of Zidon, and to them of Tyre, to bring cedar trees from Lebanon to the sea of Joppa, according to the grant that they had of Cyrus, king of Persia.
So they were making sure they get the best of the best for Yeshua's temple.
What type of trees?
Temple.
No, trees. Read it again. Read verse 7. Start with an L.
Cedar trees.
Cedar trees.
From where? From Lebanon.
Lebanon.
Yes.
Lebanon. All right. So guess what? Now we're going to skip over to chapter 3. And now they have the foundation. It was built. It was laid. And we're going to talk about the foundation coming up, okay? Well, let's see what happened. So we're going to, actually, I'm sorry, not skip over. We're going to stay in chapter 3. And we're going to read verses 11 through 13. So that's Ezra chapter Shalasha, verse Akkad Ashar through Shalasha Ashar.
Verse Akkad Ashar. And they sang together by course, and in praising and giving thanks unto the Lord, because he is good, for his mercy endureth forever toward Israel. And all the people shouted with a great shout when they praised the Lord, because the foundation of the house of the Lord was laid. But many of the priests and Levites and chief of the fathers who were ancient men that had seen the first house when the foundation of this house was laid before their eyes, wept with a loud voice, and many shouted aloud for joy.
All right. So we're going to talk about foundation and explain what it is. But right here, when it's talking about the ancient men, those were the elders, the older people, and the elders, all those people who had saw the very first temple built by King Solomon. What were they doing? They were rejoicing. And what else? They wept with a loud voice, and many shouted aloud for joy. Do you think they were happy?
Yes. I am happy too.
Good. Okay. Do you think any were sad?
No.
You don't think anybody they were weeping? So let's see. We're going to go ahead and read verse 13.
Yes.
Verse 13, so that the people could not discern the noise of the shout of joy from the noise of the weeping of the people. For the people shouted with a loud shout, and the noise was heard afar off.
So they couldn't tell if there was a noise of shouting for joy or if they were weeping. You guys know what weeping is? Crying. Yep. So does anyone know, before we tell you guys what a foundation is, does anyone know what a foundation is? Well, it's what you guys, what builders do. So before they build the house, after the architect draws the plans, they start building the house. And the very first thing, they find a good area, they make sure the land's good, and now they listen. And once they start building, one of the first things done is that they lay the foundation. And the foundation is very important because once they lay it, it's going to set the tone of how the house is going to be built. So if that foundation is wobbly, what's going to happen to the house?
It's going to fall down. It's going to fall down. It's going to get glass.
No, it's not glass. Listen.
Shemai.
So it could be wobbly. It's not going to be stable, right? It's not going to be sturdy. What if it's lopsided? I mean, when you're walking in the house, you're going to be kind of walking to the side when you're walking, right? Mm-hmm. So I want everyone to stand up, and we're going to see something about foundation.
Everyone stand up.
Stand up.
Oh, Amaris, you don't have to use stand.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just making you. Okay, now. So you're standing. Come here. Right here. So you're standing, right? And in the body, your feet is gonna be considered your foundation because you stand on that, right? Are your feet strong?
Yes.
They're really strong, right? Because they're holding your whole body up. Now let's see. You don't move, right? You don't move, right? Okay, we got some strong foundations here. Shake you around a little bit.
Space for everybody. Mikey, come right here.
Does he? Oh no. All right, so your foundation is strong, right?
Mhm.
Now everybody stand on one foot.
Just raise one foot in the air. Okay, raise one foot in the air. No, raise it in the air.
Stand on one foot.
I can't do
There you go. Don't hold me.
Just lift it up a little bit.
Just lift it up.
Oh, all right, I see you. No.
So, for some of you, how's your foundation? Are you wiggling?
Scoot over some.
Are you wiggling?
All right, there you go. Come on, let's hold our feet.
Everyone on one foot.
You should strong. You hold on to her, right? Both of y'all foundation on
Okay, so I see that Zion's foundation is a little wobbly. I see Mike and Orion need some stabilization with each other.
Right.
They calling a friend. Amaris, her foundation is still pretty sturdy. Now what if I come and do this? Oh, okay. Not stable no more, are you? You. What if I do this? Oh, okay. All right now.
All right.
So some of you, when you lifted that one foot up, your foundation got a little bit wobbly, right? We saw with Banah, he was still holding strong until something came and shook him. When something shook him, what happened to his foundation? He fell. But with the Maris, when something shook her foundation, did she move? No. No.
Maybe I gotta.
Yeah, try to strong yourself.
You should strong.
Yeah, look. No, this looks a little low. Go ahead, let me see your right. Go ahead. Let's see.
Oh, okay.
Oh, every time I come.
It comes right back down. So in order to,
your foot wasn't up.
Okay.
so you can stand up, what do you need? How many?
Two.
To be strong, right? And to have a good foundation.
Right.
And to run. All right.
So foundation is very important. So this is a very important step that just happened. Okay?
Yes.
All right. So can they have in the temple of Yeshua some wobbly foundation?
No.
No.
What happens if there's a wobbly foundation? What happens to your temple? What happens to it?
It falls.
It falls. Yeah.
All right. So, all right. Thank you, everyone. You all can go ahead and sit down. Gently.
I know.
Sound like builders, Paul. Right. Look, they laying in foundation. All right. Now we're gonna get on to the next part. All right. So now they've returned back, and now the foundation is also laid. But guess what? There were some other nations around them. Okay. Yes, they wanted to help. So it was like, hey, oh, go ahead, tell me. They were strangers, yes.
And they wanted to help.
And they wanted to help.
But they got upset because one of them said no.
Who said no? Well, all the people said no, but there was one person in particular. What was his name? Not Zedekiah. Yes, Zerubbabel. Neve, who said no? Michael, who said no? Ariah, who said no? Thank you.
Right.
So, guess what? They didn't like that they were told no. So, you know what they did? They were upset, yeah. They wrote a letter to the king. Well, we'll see. Let's find out what happened. Let's find out. All right. So they sent the letter over to King Artaxerxes to tell them, to tattle on them about what they were doing. Do you guys want to see a part of the letter?
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna look at one anyway. You already know.
All right.
So we are going to read chapter 4. Let's pay attention, everyone. Let's your mind. chapter 4, okay? And we are going to read verse 4 through 5. Okay?
Akan.
Ezra, chapter Arabaiha, verse Arabaiha. Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building, and hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose. All
Oh, the letter? Yeah, hold on.
6.
Sorry. So we are. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, that was right. I went ahead. I got excited. I went ahead. Sorry, guys. Okay, so sorry. Salakia Baba Question. Verse 4 and 5.
First Masha, and hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose. All the days of Cyrus, king of Persia, even until the reign of Darius, king of Persia.
All right. Now we get to see the letter. Sorry, I was excited. So now we're gonna move over, and we're gonna read verse 12 and 13. So Ezra chapter Arabaiha, verse Shanayim Ishar through Shalasha Ishar.
First Shanayim Ishar. Be it known unto the king that the Jews, Israelites, which came up from thee to us, are come unto Jerusalem, building the rebellious and the bad city, and have set up the walls thereof, and joined the foundations. Be it known now unto the king, that if this city is builded, and the wall set up again, then will they not pay toll, tribute, and custom, and so thou shalt end and damage the revenue of the kings.
So they went and wrote a letter, and they told. We're gonna find out. So they went to go tell on them. Imagine you guys that have siblings, right? You see your siblings, let's say, playing with some blocks, some Legos or something, right? And they're building, they're having their own little thing they building. And then you go and say, can I help? And they say, no, I want to do this by myself. But you don't like their answer. So you get upset and you go run and tell your parent. You don't write a letter, but you go run and tell your parent. Oh, they building this and they building it on your dishes. They building it on your table. They're not supposed to be on your table, Mom, and they building it there. Something like that. Oh, they building in the hallway. They're not in the room building anything, right? To tell on them, right? You guys do that?
Mm-hmm. They play with their toys in the hallway. They're not in the room. Yeah, y'all remember that. Yeah.
I do that. I do not. I don't do that to go.
Do you be telling on Micah? Do you tell on the socks?
When I
You tell on Elia?
Yep.
That's Channel 5 News.
Every time I have
No
to
one said.
All right, so maybe not blocks or molds, okay, toys, but so what we're getting, they didn't like the answer that was told to them, so they went to tell to the king. And then the king heard what that, and let's see what the king responded. We're gonna read verse 19. We're gonna read 19 and 20. We'll break it up. All right.
Verse and chapter Arba I have verse the Shah I shot, and I commanded and searched have been made, and it was found that this city of old time hath made insurrection against kings, and that rebellion and sedition have been made herein. There have been mighty kings also over Jerusalem, which have ruled over all countries beyond the river, and toll, tribute, and custom was paid unto them.
All right, so let's see what his response is in verse 21.
Oh, is that verse 21?
Yeah, my bad. For now, yeah.
Verse Asharayam Akkad. Give ye now commandment to cause these men to cease, and that this city be not builded until another commandment shall be given from me.
So what does cease mean? Anybody know what cease means? That means stop. What does it mean?
Stop.
Mm-hmm. So let's go. So the king told them to tell the Israelites to stop building the temple. So when you go tell on your sibling, right? Because they're doing something, right? What does the parent tell them to do? That too, but or stop. In this scenario, we say stop.
Yeah. If your sibling is messing with you and you tell your parent, what does your parents tell them?
Stop. Stop.
Yeah.
Or you beat it.
We're gonna just omit that part. So they were told to stop. All right, remember that, okay? So now the work has now stopped. We're gonna go ahead and read verse 23 and 24.
Verse 23. Now when the copy of King Artaxerxes' letter was read before Rehum and Shimshai, the scribe of their companions, they went up in haste to Jerusalem unto the Israelites and made them to cease by force and power. Then ceased the work of the house of God, which is at Jerusalem. So it ceased unto the second year of the reign of Darius, king of Persia.
Yeah, so if they seized by force and power, how do you think they made them stop? With authority, okay.
Were they nice about it?
No.
No.
So I have another scenario for you. Let's say you're playing with toys in the hallway. You're building blocks in the hallway by the stairs, right? That's dangerous, right? Somebody can fall, or you can fall and hurt yourself, right? You tell your mom, and your mom's like, okay, I'm gonna tell them to stop, but you take it upon yourself to take it a step further. Mama said stop, and you just knock down the block, you kick them down the stairs, you do everything, right? Why y'all looking at me like that? Do you do that?
Yeah.
Dad said stop, and you just kick it.
Right.
So they took it by force and power. Micah, do you do that to Araya? No.
She said, yes, he did.
So they took it by force and power, and then they had to stop building the temple. So we're going to see something really important coming up, okay? All right. So. One moment. All right, but guess what? Eventually, the people started building the temple again. Did they start building the temple again, everyone?
Yes.
Micah, did they start building the temple? Thank you. All right. But guess what? Somebody else came being nosy. So they see them building the temple, and they want to find out, who told you can build this temple? So imagine this time, her. Now your sibling, let's say your sibling's in the room now. They're playing, right? They're playing in the room they're supposed to be in with the toys, right? And now they're building their blocks. They're building their blocks in the room. And then you come along and you say, who told you can play with those blocks? And then what do they say? My dad told me I could play with these blocks. My mom told me I could play with these blocks. Oh, no. And what do you do? Yeah. So that's the big people that they ran and they wrote another letter to the king. They hurried up to write a letter to the king.
Wrote so fast at the pole.
So 2 different scenarios, but we're using them to relate. Okay? All right. So they wrote the letter, right? The letter has been written. And this time when they write the letter, let's see what they say.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
Everyone.
Put your legs down.
Is everyone listening? Shemai, right? Khan? All right. So these people, when they wrote the letter, they wrote a letter saying, we saw these people and they were building the temple and we asked them who commanded them to build this temple, right? So then they tell them, King Cyrus, he told us, he gave us a decree that we can build this temple. He gave us this order. So they start telling him everything, right? So we decided to write a letter to you to find out if this is true. But guess what? When King Darius went and searched, guess what he found? What do you guys think he found? Let's focus. He found a note. Yes. What did he find? Everyone?
No.
A piece of paper with words on it. Thank you. So he found the letter. He found the letter from who do you think?
Those people that was in your television.
Not the strangers, not the tattletales. Remember, they wrote a letter to the king. And this time the king searched.
What he say?
Temple. The temple. He said.
It was king. Who was the king that gave them the decree? The order to build the temple and go back to Jerusalem. What was his name?
Cyrus.
Yes, Cyrus.
King Cyrus.
Yes, King Cyrus. So they found the letter of King Cyrus. King Cyrus. Hey, let's focus and pay attention, okay? You had a question?
I think she scratched it.
All right. So let's go ahead and we're going to skip over to chapter 6 and we're going to read verse 7 through 8. So that's Ezra chapter Shasha, verse Shabbat through Shemawuna. What chapter, everybody? What's Shasha? 6. I don't hear everybody.
6.
Thank you. Thank you. You should be turning to your scriptures. Nobody else should be turning. Nobody should be turning to your scriptures. You should be focused to turn to them. And that's for everybody. Everyone in chapter 6?
Yes.
Ezra, chapter Shasha, verse Shabbat. Let the work of this house of God alone, let the governor of the Israelites and the elders of the Israelites build this house of God in his place. Moreover, I make a decree. You said the name.
Yeah.
Moreover, I make a decree, what ye shall do to the elders of the Israelites for the building of this house of God, that of the king's goods, even of the tribute beyond the river, forthwith expenses be given unto these men, that they be not hindered.
So not hinder means that they are not stopped. So he told them, let them build the temple. And on top of that, you're going to pay for what they need, All right? So what are they going to do?
Pay what they need.
But there's more. Make sure you guys are listening because once you say what's more, I'm going to ask questions. All right? So we're going to read verse 9.
Verse Tashat. And that which they have need of, both young bullocks and rams, and lambs for the burnt offerings of the God of heaven, wheat, salt, wine, and oil, according to the appointment of the priests which are at Jerusalem. Let it be given them day by day without fail.
So what else were they supposed to give them? Rams. What else?
A lamb.
Mm-hmm.
And the lamb is a baby sheep.
We ain't talking
Some bullocks, right?
Read what they had. Listen to what they had.
So they had to give them anything that they needed. So,
Like tools.
anything. Whatever was needed. All right? So they had to give them that, but guess what? Who did that order come from? Yes, it came from Cyrus, but who gave Cyrus? Yes, Yeshaya. So guess what? Whatever Yeshaya declares is going to be done, do you think it's going to happen?
Yes.
You think anybody's going to stop Yeshaya from what Yeshaya said he's going to do?
No.
So no matter what, or no matter who, no matter how powerful these people may think they are, they're not powerful than Yeshaya, right?
Yeah. They can get smarter with one wife.
Mm-hmm. They can. So whatever Yeshaya has set out for something, no one or nothing can get in Yeshaya's way. So now the temple is being built, and they have to give them everything that they need. All right?
Okay.
So with that being said, the temple is finally built. Yay! Rejoicing, right?
Now's the time when you can say it.
It was magnificent.
Yeah.
Magnificent. Okay.
Oh man.
Now we got two people doing it.
We said the temple is now built, and the song's like magnificent.
Not good now. Got three people. Yes, that's a good. Do you think the people were shouting and rejoicing?
Yeah!
Let me see you rejoice. So at this point, the temple was built, and then they also kept a feast. Do you guys want to see what feast they kept?
Yeah.
Or feast with an S? All right. So let's go ahead and read verse 15. So we're going to stay in chapter 6, and we're going to read verse 15.
Verse 15. And this house was finished on the 3rd day of the month, Adar, which was the 6th year of the reign of Darius the king.
All right, now we're going to skip down to verse 20.
Verse 20. For the priest and the
I'm
Levite.
sorry, verse 19. Sorry.
Verse 19. And the children of the captivity kept the Passover until the 14th day of the 1st month.
What feast?
What feast?
14 days.
All right, well, let's go ahead and read it again. Let's read verse 19 again.
Verse 19. And the children of the captivity kept the Passover upon the 14th day of the 1st month.
What feast?
Passover.
All right. Now let's hear the other one in verse 22.
Verse 22. And kept the feast of unleavened bread 7 days with joy, for the Lord had made them joyful, and turned the heart of the king of Assyria unto them, to strengthen their hands in the work of the house of God, the God of Israel.
What was the other feast?
Bread.
Do you make it with leaven in it?
Leavened bread.
Okay.
know who lives in this side.
Mhm.
Especially nobody.
You tell me. So spiritually with the leaven, it's sin. But we'll get into that one day. But we're focused on the temple is being built, and they kept 2 feasts. The feast of
Passover.
Passover,
And
Bread.
unleavened bread.
Unleavened.
Amen.
All right. So now everything is complete. And how long do you think it took them to build the temple?
3 days.
Not 3 days, not 2.
Oh, okay, you thinking about
I see you.
that.
Being spiritual, but okay.
4 days.
Not
5
4,
days.
not 2, not 3. No.
6.
Let's try years.
Okay. 3 years.
You said all of them?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah. 4 years. 2.
20 years.
What?
About 20 years. About 20 years.
Is that a long time?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when we pick back up in Ezra in a couple of weeks, we are going to continue on. And we're going to also see more about the temple, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Guys ready for that?
Yes.
Good. And we're going to look at the other 2 groups that were led by Ezra and Nehemiah. Yeah. All right. So all praise, honor, and glory goes to Ahia, Yeshua, and the Holy Spirit.
Sit.
Thank you all for joining us for Children Life Bible Study. And please join us for our main Shabbat lesson at p.m. 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Kwam Yasharala.
Wow.